Hi, my name is Christy Dosh, and I couldn't resist the urge to get outside today on this beautiful Florida spring day to talk about something I love, which is public speaking. I made a post in a Facebook group recently where I asked people who wanted to land public speaking gigs what was holding them back. Where were they stuck? Was it coming up with the idea for the speech? Was it actually finding somewhere to speak? Was it stage fright? And the number one response that I got from people was that they were having trouble deciding where to speak or finding those opportunities to speak. And that's really exciting for me because I think that that's an easy one to overcome. It's actually much easier to overcome than the fear factor. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about how I got my first speaking engagement and give you some ideas for really easy places to find those first few speaking gigs. So I used to be a practicing attorney. I was a corporate attorney in Atlanta, Georgia, and I had an interest in the business and legal side of sports. And I was blogging about those topics and was offered a book deal based on my blog. And in talking to the publisher, I found out I needed more of a what they call platform. So I needed more people who knew about me and about my work and were interested enough in it to want to buy my book when it came out one day. So this was about 7 years ago. I had never done any sort of public speaking, outside of speaking in front of a classroom in college, that sort of thing. I'm lucky that I also didn't really have a fear of public speaking, so that wasn't an issue for me. And I just needed to figure out what I was going to speak about and where. So the obvious topic for my speech was the topic of my book, which was the business side of Major League Baseball. And I got to thinking about who would be learning about the business side of Major League Baseball. And maybe you're thinking, outside of team executives and that sort of thing in Major League Baseball, who would care about the business side of baseball, right? Well, students in sports management programs care about it. They take classes on sport finance, sport government, that sort of thing. And my office was located very close to Georgia State University. So my first idea was to look and see, did Georgia State University offer some sort of sport finance or sport governance course? And they did. They offered a sport finance course. And I looked to see if it was being offered during that semester, and it was. And found the name of the professor and her email address, and I just sent her an email where I introduced myself. I told her, that I was a practicing attorney, that I was blogging about the topic. I included a couple of links from my blog so that she would know that this was a topic I wrote about and was passionate about, and just asked if she ever had guest lecturers. And she couldn't have gotten back to me fast enough, okay? I think professors love having that day off, one day where they don't have to plan the schedule for the class. And so she was happy to have me come in and do my presentation on the business side of Major League Baseball. And that actually led to a great partnership with that professor. It's been 7 years. I spoke in her classes for probably 3 years while I lived in Atlanta before I moved. And actually, I just worked with her recently. She's at Texas A&M now, and she's on the board of a journal there and asked me to be one of the editors for that journal for a recent piece, which I was happy to do. So that turned into a great partnership, but it also gave me my first few speaking engagements so that when I went to other people later, I could say, I've already done this speaking at Georgia State. I even had a nice recommendation from her. So that kind of got me my start. I did move on and do speeches in a few other college classrooms before I started doing other organizations, but I think that that's a great place to start, is classrooms. And maybe your topic lends itself better to a graduate class or better to a high school class, or maybe it's even a middle school class. And maybe you have a topic that's not good for a classroom at all. But I do think that classrooms are a really great place to start, and professors are incredibly receptive in my experience. Okay, so let's say you have a topic, you just don't feel like the classroom is the right place for it. I would say my next go-to place would be groups like Rotary clubs. There's a group called the Optimist Club that has chapters all over the country. Those types of clubs generally meet once a week, okay? Some of them maybe only meet once a month, but a lot of those groups meet once a week, and they have a different speaker every single week. And that speaker doesn't necessarily have to be a member of their club. I haven't been a member of any of the clubs that I've spoken to over the years. I've got a lot of Rotary and Optimist clubs under my belt, Lions clubs, those sorts of things. Look for those organizations in your area and just find their website. Find someone you can email within that organization to send your pitch to. And if pitching is something you have a problem with, that's something I would be happy to help you with too. I recently did a 5-day challenge that included an entire day on writing your pitch. So if that's somewhere you're getting stuck, please get in touch with me and I would be happy to share that day with you. But go ahead and send those pitches out to those types of organizations. I think you'll find it's pretty easy to land those sort of speaking gigs, and that's a great place to get your start, to get some gigs under your belt. They're going to be free, you're not going to get paid, but honestly, very few people get paid in the beginning. You've really got to be sort of an expert in your field, nationally renowned, to be getting paid speaking gigs right off the bat. Otherwise, you do need to start with things like classrooms and Rotary clubs and that sort of thing, and to get a basis, and then you work your way up from there. I've been speaking for about 7 years, and I do get paid now, and I get paid very nice fees that are in the 4 figures and even into the 5 figures, but obviously that took some time. Okay, if you don't feel like Rotary Club, Optimist Club, Lions Club, that sort of thing is the right thing for you, or maybe for some reason you can't find one of those in your area, think about other organizations that you belong to, or even better, that your ideal clients belong to. So trade organizations, those types of things. They might meet less often. Maybe they meet once a month. Maybe it's quarterly. Maybe they just have one annual meeting. Those, in my experience, are a little difficult to get if you have no experience with public speaking, unless you've done some sort of research or other project and you've got results to deliver that are incredibly important to that industry and that organization. Outside of that, I think it's pretty tough to land those right off the bat, but it is always worth a try. The worst thing people can tell you is no. And I know it sucks to hear no, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. And even a no gets you on somebody's radar. So maybe you're a no right now, but next year or the year after, you're a yes because you have more experience or they have more space in their schedule or whatever it is. So in my opinion, there are a lot of opportunities out there to speak. I never want to hear anybody say that they really want to speak and can't find a place to speak, because I do think those opportunities are out there. If you watch this, you still feel like you've struggled and you haven't been able to land that speaking gig, please get in touch with me. I would be happy to point you in the right direction and help you, because I love public speaking. It's done amazing things for my career, and I hope it can do the same for yours.